right, pulling up the Vegas odds. It looks like the Los Angeles Rams are plus 1,200 according to DraftKings to repeat as Super Bowl champions. Now talking about it with my co-host Kyle Ledbetter here early in the week. Kyle has a take about the Los Angeles Rams. Kyle, you have the floor.
Yeah, so I'm interested in this year's Rams team as much as any in the NFL this year, especially, the teams that we think of that are always competitive. Because for the Rams to win the championship last year, what they had over everyone else was the best of the best at their positions. Jalen Ramsey, best cornerback to enter the NFL in the last 5 years. Aaron Donald obviously walks into the Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. Cooper Kupp last year breaks all these records as a wide receiver. And and of course, Sean McVay, who's this great coach who 3 years ago went to a Super Bowl with 75% of Jeff Fisher's players. And then this last year, there were only 3 players on the team from the Jeff Fisher regime. So rebuilt an entire Super Bowl champion. And I think the Rams are super interesting because of how many great things broke their way last year. And the fact that the Rams are built on those 4 key pieces that are better than everyone else at what they do, which means it's easier to be repeatable because you just need Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and Jalen Ramsey to work out, as opposed to an entire defense coming back and being first in the NFL. So in that way, I think it's easier for the Rams to repeat. And at the same time, they caught so many good breaks with injuries last year, and Stafford throwing 40 touchdowns in the regular season. And even with a sprained shoulder that Troy Aikman secretly accidentally revealed on a playoff broadcast, had that postseason where he was just good enough to get by. I think he had 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions or something like that during the playoff run. And that part makes it seem like it's easier to repeat. And at the same time, so many things broke their way for them to get to that place in the championship, including the 49ers upsetting the Packers in the divisional round and Tart dropping the interception, and all those things broke their way. So it seems so difficult that they'll be able to repeat, because I don't think of the Rams as this juggernaut like the Chiefs have been for the last 4 years. And then I start to look at how they won last year and I think, hey, that's kind of repeatable. They can kind of do it. So I have no idea what to make of the Rams this year, because there's so many pushes and pulls that I think work in favor or against the Los Angeles Rams repeating this year. I think they're such a fascinating team.
Darion, here today, do you think the Rams are likely to repeat?
Absolutely. And what you add in the free agency makes it even more better for the Los Angeles Rams. You have a Cooper Kupp. Yes, you still have the Van Jefferson. But when you add an healthy Allen Robinson that's been on bad teams everywhere he went, and he has a steady quarterback at Matthew Stafford, that's going to make this offense a little bit more deadly at the wide receiver position. You bring in Tyler Higbee back as a tight end. And now we don't know what the issue with Odell Beckham. We don't know if they're going to bring him back either. So that's just something to look for. And then on the defensive side, you went out and got Bobby Wagner. That's another one there on the defensive side that was already good. And you don't subtract from that. I mean, you don't. So when it comes to the Rams, they fully loaded. I know they lost Wentworth to the offensive lineman to retirement. Got to replace a veteran offensive lineman like that. But now you get a fully healthy Cam Akers, even though he did play last year, but you get him for a full season this year. And I just think they are a complete football team. There's no weaknesses in their defense. Only thing I could probably say, if it's a small weakness, if they could address some, younger offensive linemen. But Aaron Donald is the leader of that defense. Bobby Wagner is going to be the veteran. And then you got Jalen Ramsey as a veteran as a corner. So you have a veteran on all 3 phases of the defense. You got Matthew Stafford. Then you got Cooper Kupp, which won the Triple Crown. And you got a few pieces of younger guys on the offensive side. It's I wouldn't say easily, but I could definitely see them repeating. I could definitely, just the way this team is shaping out. And I don't know how they getting the money to get these free agents, the way they be trading and getting draft picks and stuff of that nature. But hey, they're making it happen. And I think they could win the Super Bowl again this year.
The cap doesn't exist for the Rams. It is true. It is a myth when it comes to Les Snead, Sean McVay. They're like, do you want to go get a player? Sure. Why not? Let's just go do it. So plus 1,200. That's still third in the NFC. So that's behind the Packers and the Buccaneers in the NFC. and that's 5th overall. So the Bills currently are the favorite to win this year's Super Bowl at plus 550, Bucks at plus 750, Chiefs at plus 1,000, and then, as mentioned, the Packers at plus 900 before you get to the Rams. I don't think it's going to happen, guys. Why I don't think it's going to happen? The thing about making a deep playoff run like they did, that Super Bowl hangover does tend to linger. And we've seen that with a lot of teams. And that's why we haven't had a repeat champion since the New England Patriots in the mid 2000s. That's a long time. That's almost 20 years ago at this point. I look at the teams at the top. Again, I mentioned the Bills, the Bucks, the Chiefs, the Packers. These are teams that I think are going to be very hard to beat. I look at the Rams schedule alone. So they start off the year, week 1, against the Buffalo Bills. We're going to see how the Rams are going to be looking coming into this year.
A Super Bowl, Super Bowl implications.
Yeah, very well, maybe. And then you also have to factor in with the Rams just getting out of their own division. Yes, the games against Seattle got easier, that's for sure. But scraps with the Niners, scraps with the Cardinals, those are built into their schedule. They have to play the entire AFC West this year. They're going to have run-ins with the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Chargers. The Chargers are 6th, according to Vegas, at plus 1,400. So the Chargers are expected to be.
Let's keep them there because, they get the hype all off season and they never make the playoffs. So, yeah, keep them at number 6.
And what I think about the Rams, too, and their run to the Super Bowl, the things that broke right, Kyle mentioned the Kowalski Tart missed interception. If it wasn't for Todd Bowles, Bruce Arians deciding to run an all-out blitz and just say, screw it, let's just let Cooper Kupp run free. Maybe Tom Brady comes back from a 27-point deficit and puts them away. Touched by the hand of God. That could have very well been the case. And the Bucks, like I said, are currently favored to them. We talked a little bit off camera about, did the Bucks really get better? The way I look at it, they have Tom Brady. So they're always going to have a chance to compete on any given year. In that particular head-to-head matchup, for whatever reason, the Rams have had the Buccaneers number over the last 2 seasons. But I still always give them a chance. And in fact, I have the Buccaneers as my favorite to come out of the NFC today. I will agree with Vegas on that front.
I'm a little surprised by that. I'm not going to say it's insane. Like, I think the 49ers might be the favorite. It's kind of like all out there right now in the NFC.
Yeah, the NFC is very wide open. Very wide open.
Absolutely. And this is the part that I was fascinated by when I brought up the Rams topic is you mentioned the favorites in football, whether it's the Bucks or the Packers or the Chiefs. What's the difference between those teams as to the Rams? Because like everyone kind of assumes the Rams won't be able to repeat. And yet we pencil in the Chiefs in the conference championship every year, or we pencil in the Packers, or we pencil in Buffalo. Is it just the quarterback that's doing it?
I think,
or is it something beyond that?
I agree. I'll agree with that. Yes, Matthew Stafford definitely earned a lot of praise last year for their run to the Super Bowl, but at several points in their run to the Super Bowl, he almost also cost them. Against the Niners, again, he should have been picked by Kowalski Tart. There is no reason that ball should have not ended up going the other way. There was some careless moments of him just kind of hucking it up there and someone just running under it. You go back even to the week 17 game or week 18 game against the Niners and that interception that ended the game against Ambry Thomas. Unless you're saying that you think Matthew Stafford could get better than what he was last year, maybe he learns the offense, gets more continuity in the offense. Great. He still threw for 40 plus touchdowns last year. So I think you could only get worse. I'm not sold that back-to-back years, Matthew Stafford could get it done and lead a team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I agree with
Didn't
you there.
Lead the league in interceptions behind Trevor Lawrence?
He was pretty close. I think he was top 5 in interceptions. I think the thing I'm interested in is, does having the best defensive lineman in the history of the NFL, the best corner in the league, and if not the best wide receiver, one of the 5 best wide receivers, overcompensate for not having an elite quarterback? I mean, the way that people discuss the Rams leans me to think that the answer is no, although it's also just really, really hard to repeat in the NFL. And obviously there are different factors at play.
And then too, we the fuck them picks philosophy, eventually it has to catch up to you. Eventually, I think it does. When we start talking about those exterior pieces, those have to affect you at a certain point.
Yeah, it does. But I just feel like with Stafford having a supporting cast for the first time, knowing that he wasn't really supported like that in Detroit, I still feel like you added to what can make him better. Honestly, you could for real, we could see Matthew Stafford throw for more than 40 touchdowns this year. We can see it. It's possible. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it is possible because Allen Robinson is something dynamic that's just going to give you the Robert Woods type before Robert Woods got hurt. Even with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods last year, they were still able to put up the numbers and still be one of the top teams in the NFC, even after he went down and then they traded him. So I just feel like you put better weapons around him and then you add to a defense that really kind of like, not, I wouldn't say carried them to the Super Bowl, but definitely helped when Matthew Stafford was throwing those interceptions or fumbling the football. They end up getting that offense the ball back, and Matthew Stafford redeemed himself afterwards. So that's, I won't say it's an easy route to the Super Bowl, but it's going to be very interesting to see. You're going to have to pick your poison with this offense, and you're going to have to see what you can exploit on his defense.
Hey, you heard it here. To say very much likely that the Rams have a good opportunity. I'm not buying it, but are you? Drop below in the comments. Leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Darion Hopkins joined us today on the podcast. Go ahead and check out him on all social media platforms. We're going to have that in the bio for you. From Juju Talk Sports, Kyle, better stay safe, happy, and healthy. We will see you next time.